everyone. Liz Holter House, OBX for sale, powered by Keller Williams, here again today, going into week 3 of our listing agent series, How to Hire a Rockstar Listing Agent Like Me. And this week we're going to talk about communication and availability. And this is both ways. So one of the key ingredients in my success is being able to communicate with the seller. And sometimes the seller is not able to slow down because you're in another city and the home is rented and things like that. But kind of slowing down and having a really good conversation with me about all the things. Why do you want to sell? When do you want to sell? What are your future plans? Are you going to purchase another investment home? If it's an investment home, are you moving? When do you need to move by? All of those things. Knowing your intent and especially knowing what your timeline is helps me. It's actually critical to helping me know what I need to do to help you and to make that process successful. So good communication between the two of us is extremely important. So I would just say, kind of just give me a time when we can talk for 20 minutes and let me ask some questions and get through the process so I know exactly what you expect from me, and we're both on the same page. As far as communication goes, I will communicate in every format possible. Text messaging, email, text messaging out of my computer database. I have a full-time assistant. She will text you, she will call you, she will email you, things like that. Things that we want well documented, like conversations between myself and the listing agent, and we want to be able to give that to you. Things that we need to document for compliance purposes. We sometimes we'll do via text or phone, and then we follow it up with emails. So you'll get communications sometimes on the same topic in more than one fashion, but that's okay. That's just us trying to make sure we're in full compliance and have a timeline and a record of everything we've done on your behalf. Also, how frequently should I communicate with you? And this is important that I understand your expectations. Typically, we are in contact a lot, but and sometimes it's just a simple text. Hey, I've got on a Thursday, I already have 5 showings for your house on this weekend. Something simple like that. There's other automated ways I can set you up if you want to see the showings coming in, things like that. So those are ways that we touch you as well. But we will give you a seller feedback report every 2 weeks. And we will go through all of the programs that we use and figure out how many times your house has been downloaded, how many times it's been shown. We will give you the feedback that we've gotten from those showings. We ask for feedback from every agent who shows your property. I think it's a total of 5 times we ask for it. We don't always get it, but it is asked for and asked for and asked for. And sometimes no feedback is just feedback. We're not interested, and we just have to go with that. But if there's any written feedback that makes suggestions or comments about condition or price or whatever, we're going to give that to you in raw format. Also, as far as how and when to communicate with me, I understand that we all have different schedules and we all travel a lot for work and we live in different states, we live in different time zones. There is never a time that you can't text me or call me. I may not answer the phone at 10 o'clock Mountain Time or 10 o'clock p.m. Western Time, but I may answer you at 5 a.m. Eastern Time. So I've got my phone on Do Not Disturb in the evening hours. I think it goes on at 9 or 10 o'clock at night until 6 the next morning. So if you need to text me or whatever, you wake up at 3 in the morning and you think of something and you want to make sure you let me know, feel free, text away. It's not going to bother me. Just know I'm not answering you at 3 o'clock in the morning. I may answer you at 6 in the morning, but it's not going to be at 3 in the morning. But any time that you feel like you need to communicate with me is fine. There's often times, when you're trying to get a point across, or you want to get something to me, you don't want to forget it. It's not something that requires immediate action. You just want to get it off of your plate in doing it so you don't forget to do it. Same way with me, as I may send an email in the later evening hours, and it's just I need to get this out to you, but real estate doesn't really have emergencies after 5 o'clock at night. The banks are closed, the attorneys are closed, things like that, and those are just a wrap up of the day's details. And we're trying to get those out for everyone to respond to. But I definitely don't expect a response at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. If you want to respond, that's fine. Just so you know my expectations, unless it's marked urgent, typically if I really need an immediate answer, I'm going to call you on the phone. Just know that as well. But if it's just a typical email, the next day is soon enough. Absolutely soon enough. So just to kind of let you know, expectations of my business hours, I do typically work Monday through Friday, 7:30, 8 o'clock to 5 or 6 p.m. I work a lot of weekends, even when I'm not working weekends. If I'm not working with a particular buyer or seller that weekend, I always have the phone on me and I'm always there to field calls and things like that. So that's not a problem. Modes of communication are, like I said, everything, all platforms. I really do prefer any kind of instant messaging via text, because I don't have all of my social media constantly dinging me and tapping me in the background, and I will miss stuff on social media. I don't check that diligently like I do email and voicemail and text messages. And just to know that good communication between us is key in this project. This is a project that we're all in together, and it's going to take a team effort to get your home under contract and across the closing line. And I would just say, if at any time anything changes, your motivation, the reason you need to change, your timeline changes, any of that, you need to let me know as soon as possible. We can then put our heads together, formulate a plan. Does this change our plan, or do we just keep going the way we're going? So communication is key, and I would add one small caveat to this. In real estate, there is no room for emotion. And it's hard as a seller, especially when you're selling a beach home that you've owned for 15, 18, 20 years. You've raised your babies there, you've raised your grandchildren there. You're selling more than just a piece of property. You're selling a part of your heart. You're selling a part of your life's journey. And I get that. But the buyer is buying a part of their future journey. There are no memories, and it's not hard for them the same reason it's hard for you. So it's important to understand that. And so if a buyer comes to us through the buyer's agent or even through me and wants to make an offer on your property that you perceive as being really low, we want to kind of control our knee-jerk reactions, and we all have them, including me. I want to get the best price for your house. I don't want to see a low offer. But at the end of the day, we need to take a deep breath and say, okay, where's this buyer coming from? What are they seeing that we're not seeing? And honestly, there are just some personalities that have to start low. They're going to come to where we want them to be. They just have to start low. They just have to ask, and they just have to be told no. But if we say to them, you just need to go get real, that this is way too low, we might lose what is otherwise a very serious buyer. So sometimes you just got to play that buyer's game and give them a counter offer. And it might be a counter that is just a little bit off your list price. Let's say you're listed at $800,000 and you come to $799. It shows that you're reasonable and it shows that you'll be reasonable when they get reasonable. You know what I mean? So it's all in the way we answer. We want to answer in such a way that leaves that conversation and the dialogue open, because if that is a serious buyer, we want to give them room to lick their wounds and bring us a better offer. So communication is important, and keeping emotion out of the real estate process and out of the communication is extremely important. You can be as emotional with me as you want. I'm going to try very hard to keep that emotion under control when we relay it back to the buyer, is what I'm saying. Because I do know that oftentimes in selling real estate on the Outer Banks, there's a tremendous amount of emotion involved for the sellers. And I get that. I get it. I've been there multiple times with sellers. And, unless it was an investment home you never stepped foot in, there's often so many memories there. And it's always a hard decision as to whether selling is the right thing or not. And I want to make that part of this journey for you as easy and as stressless as possible. So anyway, this is Liz Holter House, OBX for Sale, powered by Keller Williams, wrapping up week 3, talking about communication, two-way communication between the seller and myself, or the seller and your listing agent, availability, what hours we work, what we expect from you, what you should expect from me, and keeping emotion in check when communicating with the other side. So until next week, have a great time, and don't forget to follow us and like us on social media.